Hey guys, Sam here with Yomi Hacks. Thank you for joining me on another video. In this one, we're going to talk about clickable YouTube video thumbnails that you guys can create to get more clicks and views to your YouTube videos. Some of the YouTube thumbnails I've seen out there are trash and people are wondering, man, how am I going to get clicks to my video? Well, you got to make it so that people want to click on it, right? So a real quick thing before we even get started, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me out with the algorithm. I bring you tech and content creation tutorials weekly, so make sure you subscribe to get the latest video that I put out. Okay, so the YouTube algorithm honestly doesn't really care about your thumbnail until people start clicking on it. And what's interesting about the algorithm is that it takes elements from your YouTube thumbnail and it finds an audience for your video. So in addition to your description, to the video content, the YouTube algorithm also looks at your thumbnail and elements in your thumbnail, and it uses that information, compiles it, and it matches the audience out there for your video. So, but you want people to click on it, so that way the algorithm can work in your favor. So we're gonna go through a couple of things. The first thing here is you got to use high quality thumbnail images. Don't use anything that looks crazy, blurry, that doesn't have good resolution. You want really good resolution images, high quality images for your thumbnails, right? So thumbnail sizes, I usually use the max recommended 1280 by 720. And I like to use JPEG or PNG. I don't use GIF or BMP. I don't use any of those. Second one is you got to use close-up images. So look at this thumbnail here. This image looks really good. You almost want to eat off the screen. These vegetables look so good, right? So this is what I mean by high quality images. You want your images to look like that. All right. And then see that font. We're going to talk about font later. Oh, by the way, I'm going to have a link in the description to this post here. It's from the renderforest.com blog. And I'll have a link to this post so you guys can check this out. All right. Display a face in your thumbnail. Obviously, you guys see a lot of thumbnails with people that have their faces on it and they have all these different types of expressions. Well, those expressions or emotions that people show tend to get people clicking on it. So if you have a channel where you're the face of it, or you want to use somebody else's face, you can do that. But just know that these things are what people kind of gravitate to, the emotions that draws them in, that makes them want to click on it, especially if they see certain types of emotions being conveyed. Fourth thing is the text, the thumbnail text. This you got to get right. You don't want it too small or too big, but just right. And it has to be readable. So you want to make sure you have readable font there. Implement the rule of thirds. So that is making sure your images, your graphic elements, everything is equally proportionate on the thumbnail. Like when one is not overpowering the other. So they're all equally distributed on the thumbnail. So it's balanced. 6 is check the background text. I see a lot of this. I see a lot of people that have text that blend in with their background and you can't even read the text. So make sure you have text that fits with your background or at least matches the background. So it's not blending, they're contrast. I'm gonna make sure that they contrast. Kind of like this one here. Maintain brand consistency. So obviously if you have a thumbnail template that works, you wanna create that same template all across your thumbnails so that way you have brand consistency and familiarity with your channel and your content so people know this is your brand. Maybe you have certain colors, certain fonts, certain emojis that you use. People will know that this is your brand, this is your channel when they see those thumbnails in their feed. Number 8, show the end result. So like this is an example here where you talk about room transformations. You see that they have one quarter here. The room looks one way, then another quarter looks this way, and then another quarter looks that way. So if you have content where you want to show the beginning of something and then the end of something, you want to display that in your thumbnail because then that gets people interested. Like, okay, how did that process happen? Like what transpired in that transformation? So that kind of gets people's curiosity peaking and curious about how that transformation happened. Use customizable thumbnail templates. So if you're building it yourself, and I'm going to go through Canva because I have the Canva open up because you can use Canva to create a lot of your YouTube thumbnails. So I'll go through some of the stuff that you could do on Canva. 10, choose contemporary colors. So these are just some contemporary colors. Obviously, use different color schemes, ones that kind of draw the eye, draw the attention to the user to get them focused on your thumbnail. So these are some color schemes here that you can use to implement in your thumbnail. Add graphic elements. I wouldn't overdo it with this. Just, highlight some of your thumbnail images with some graphical elements just to enhance it, make it look nice, make it pop a little bit, but I wouldn't go overboard on the graphic elements. And then number 12, the highlight the main subject. So if you're talking about makeup and stuff like that, like you see in this thumbnail, you obviously want to show a picture of someone doing makeup so that way they can see it. And then you also have the makeup toolkit here that they're using for that subject matter. All right, and then avoid misleading content. So this is obvious. Don't have a thumbnail that shows one thing and then the content is completely different from what the thumbnail shows. So I see a lot of that. They call it clickbait, right? So you may show someone driving in a Lamborghini and then when they go click on the video, they're driving a Honda Accord. You don't want to do that. So make sure that the thumbnail matches what the content is. All right, so guys, look, you can go to canva.com and Canva has a ton of YouTube templates here, thumbnail templates that you can use and create. Some of these, all you got to do is just kind of swap out the images, swap out the text, and you can kind of use them as your own. You can change the background. It's cool. You can do a lot of these things with Canva. I'll have a link to the Canva site here, but if you wanted to create it yourself, Canva is a great way to create your thumbnails, and you can use a variety of stock images and things like that to create your thumbnail. Now, if you don't have the time to create your thumbnail, we do have a Fiverr gig where we create YouTube thumbnails for you. So I'll have a link in the description if you want to take advantage of that. And yeah, so these are the elements that you need to have a great looking YouTube thumbnail. Make sure you take advantage. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. And I hope you enjoy this one. I got more coming down the way. I'll see you guys on the next one.